Good to see everyone.
Good to see you, Chris.
How are you, Bob?
Doing fine, thanks. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. Awesome. So let's just wait a minute till everyone hops on board. Okay, perfect. So today we're gonna talk about, I sent out an email. I don't know if everyone saw it, but we're going to talk about something very potent and powerful. So starts from basic and can go a little bit more advanced, but essentially, just to my apologies, just to leave a few more people in. And here we go. We're going to talk about some sales valves. And these are called T.I.M.E.R. And it's an acronym, and we'll unpack what each letter is, but these are some sales valves where if we open them up, sales become much more effortless, but at the same time, they are constraints. So if we do not attack them, if we don't check those boxes, we're going to have a hard time winning the sale, moving the sale forward, even towards the next step. So this will involve different elements that we have discussed before, some we haven't, but this is going to be a handy checklist for you maybe to have it on your desk to make sure that we're checking as you're having sales conversations, you're checking these boxes off. So what essentially is T.I.M.E.R? T.I.M.E.R, what it means is time, identity, money, energy, and reputation. We'll take it one by one. No need, there's no rush. I just want to give you some context on what T.I.M.E.R exactly is. So these are essentially the principles that every person values at the end of the day. Like if we start thinking from first principles, these are the things that we value: our time, our identities, which, not to get too woo-woo, but essentially it's who we are. I guess the mix of our previous experiences, of our values, and our thought patterns. Money, no need to explain more there. Our energy, how we spend and how we withhold our energy overall. And reputation, how others.
No, I honestly didn't even see it. I'm spacing out. I'm on a call right now, but I appreciate it. Thank you. I'll have a.
Okay, I muted everyone. And our reputation is how everyone else thinks about us. So big difference: identity, how we think about ourselves, our values, our beliefs, our status. Reputation, how others think about us, the beliefs others have about us. So let's start with time. When we talk about the time valve, it means, and the time constraint at the same time, it's when we detect that a prospect isn't going to have the time, or cannot make the time, or will not make the time to walk into anything, a program, a product, a service, anything that we have. So how the big mindset shift that we need to have them make in their minds, so we don't have to objection handle time. And because there are ways to objection handle, I don't have time for this. But the big idea is to get ahead of it, so we don't have to have all that conversation and make our lives harder. So when we detect that, our prospects, they're busy, they have a full calendar, or they even say, yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to have time for something like this. I just want to see what this is all about. We need to challenge it then and there. And how we do it is, and I'm gonna blend in some, I'm gonna give you two levels. Level one is simply, we have to get them to understand that it's not about having the time, it's about making the time. So it's not about time, it's about priorities. Just letting another person in. It's not about having time. Every one of us has 24 hours. It's what we do with those 24 hours. So this is where we come in, and maybe to give you more precise language and terminology you can use. Someone says, yeah, I don't know if I do have enough time for something like this. I just want to find out more details. Whoa. Chris, walk me through. When you say you're not gonna have enough time, how do you mean exactly? Just so I understand. Yeah, I'm very busy, and so on and so forth. Yeah, totally understand. Most of my clients are very busy. So yeah, from their perspective, it's not about being busy because everyone's busy. It's about their priorities, how much time they can make to put something like this, put into something like this, so they can have result. So I should probably ask before we go on any further, how much time would you have to put into the training, the product, the program, so you can start getting results? So by using this language, again, I'm reframing his focus from my time is valuable to how much of your valuable time can you put into a mechanism so you can get the result that you want, that you came to me for. So I'm qualifying hard there, so they can come back and prove to me that, yeah, I'm willing to make the time. If I get pushback and they start asking things like, yeah, I'm not sure, how much time do you need for something like this, I'll make the time if it's important enough for me. You can come back and say something like, yeah, my best clients, they typically carve out at least 3 to 5 hours a week, so we can do this, do that, so they can get the result. Now, is that something that you can swing? I want confirmation there from them. It's not, we will see. No, it's a red light. We pause the conversation. Hey, so this is important for me because I'd hate to, offer you something that you're not going to be able to do. So are you willing to show up 3 to 5 hours a week, put in the necessary work so we can get you results? Everyone with me up to this point? This is essentially the big time. This is time level one. Time level two is if they keep having a hard time understanding the concept, I can start weaving in identity. And this is where I can do something like, totally get it, Chris. May I ask you a question? Because it seems like, it does sound like you're very busy. May I ask you a question? Yeah, sure. Who's a person that you admire from a business perspective? Pause. It depends on what we're selling. If we're selling fitness, who's a person you admire from a fitness perspective? Who's a person, if you're selling business, who's a person you admire? If you are selling, we have to make it relevant around what we're selling, right? Bob, for example, who's a parent, who's a celebrity parent that you admire, their lifestyle, for example. So we have to make it relevant about what we're selling. So who's a person you admire? They're gonna say a specific person, right? Okay, so walk me through. Do you think that person has more hours? Do you think that they have 30 hours a day? Well, no. Right. So it's not about how much time that we have. It's how we use the times that we have in our priorities. So help me understand, is losing weight and getting into the best shape of your life a priority for you right now? And there are no right answers, but right now we're looking to work with people who are willing to show up. So this is how I can weave in the identity into the time frame, so I can get confirmation, move forward. Everyone with me? Any questions based so far? We're gonna go into some deeper concepts. Going once, going twice. Cool. Let's talk about identity. And I have to warn you, it's gonna get weird. Identity is a heavy one. So when we talk about identity, again, it's how we're thinking about ourselves. But an interesting concept is that every one of us has a shell identity. This is a concept from Frank Kern, famous marketer, but we have a cell identity where it's our surface level identity. Chris is a sales professional, an entrepreneur, whatever, a funny guy with a blue shirt. This is the surface level identity. This is the person that we are today. The culmination of our values, our how we see the world, our beliefs. Beneath the shell identity is the core identity. The core identity is the person that we aspire to be, and it's different for all of us. It's Chris, quick example, retired on the beach with, I don't know what, 5 businesses, whatever. I'm just pulling stuff out of my behind, but it's the core identity. It's the person who we truly are. Like we can have a Chris, and just to give you an example, so let's say Chris is, let's talk about old me. Chris is a pharmacist. He's working a 9-to-5 job. And what are his problems? So if, let's say Chris hops on a sales call and the sales professional starts talking to him about how long are you working? So let me give you some context. I do apologize. I'm all over the place. So Chris is a pharmacist. He's a 9-to-5, not very happy. He wants to make a living online, right? He wants side income so he can eventually start pivoting off his 9-to-5. So he sees a program, he jumps on a sales call, and the sales professional starts talking about how long do you work? And how much do you make? Okay, and how long has this been going on for? You feeling sad and happy and not making the money that you want? This sales professional is talking to Chris, the shell identity. What's happening in the surface? Like, what's happening right now on the outside world, right? He's talking to a Chris who's suffering with surface level problems. But if he starts talking to the core identity is the Chris when Chris was a pharmacist. His core identity was a business owner who works from home, makes 50K a month, doesn't have a boss, is free, etc., etc. The problem is when we only talk to the shell identity over here, we stay very surface level because we're not talking to the core person. We're just talking to the person based on what they live today. But when we start talking to people around their aspirational, their core identity, that's where the magic happens. I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna go deeper, but this is a little bit more advanced, so I want to make sure everyone's on the same page. Questions up to this point? Cool. So Shell identity, core identity. How can I start talking to people from to the aspirational identity? Bob,
I just was curious if this is being recorded. I don't
it is.
remember. It
It
is.
is.
Okay. Sorry, Chris. Sorry to bother you.
No, it's all good. So shell identity, core identity. So how can we start speaking to the aspirational identity, to the core identity of each person? We do it by reframing their problems. So who listened during the week? I released a role play, not a role play, sorry, a live sales call from a guy who had 5 different objections. Who noticed it? Hit me up in the chat. I did. Bob, I know you did. I think, who else did? Ben didn't. I think Valentin did. I think, anyways, cool. What I did with that person, he came in with a specific problem. His problem, and I'm going to give context to everyone. So it was a prospect. He came in with a specific problem. I'm getting this objection. I'm getting, he was selling fundraising or something. Like, I wasn't even clear into what he's selling, and that I overcame 5 objections. This is how potent these things are. I wasn't even sure what he was selling, and I overcame 5 objections and sold him into the program. And I will help him out because I know what he's struggling with. I'm not sure what he's selling exactly. Anyways, it was something about fundraising, helping businesses raise money, essentially money at a discount, something like that. And he came in with a specific problem. His problem was, I need to talk to my accountant problem. Objection. So he was pitching business owners, and the objection that he was constantly getting and missing out on sales from is, hey, this sounds good. I need to talk to my accountant. Now, is this a surface level problem, or like a shell identity problem, or a core identity problem? It's very surface level, right? I need to talk to my accountant. It's a tactical problem. The thing is, when people have tactical problems, they buy tactical solutions. Where tactical solutions, they can be an ebook, they can be a tip. You can find these on YouTube. You cannot sell someone transformational high-ticket products and services by solving tactical shell identity problems. This is super important to understand. So what do we do in these cases? I wasn't talking to this guy, whoever. I want you to go back, if you have listened to that, to the live call. I want you to notice, how am I talking to him? I'm not talking, let's say his name was Chris. I wasn't talking to Chris, I need to solve this objection. I was talking to Chris, who wanted to make 100K a month. So essentially, I was reframing his problem. And that's why he bought at the end. It wasn't because I told him, hey, I will help you. Yes, I will help you solve this. He wouldn't have paid 4 or 5 grand to solve this. He could have watched a YouTube video, go out there, maybe fail, maybe go back, buy another ebook. And at the end of the day, he wouldn't have solved it, because the issue is much deeper. But if you don't help people have that reframe in their mind and have them start thinking from the person that they should become or they want to become, like their aspirational identity, we're not going to sell them high-ticket services, and we only focus on tactical things. So if you go back during the call, you will notice I'm talking to him. I'm talking to the person he wants to become, the person who's making 100K a month. And that's why he bought at the end. Reframing, switching, the way, the language that we use, and the person we're talking to. Heavy woo-woo stuff, questions, feel free to boo, throw tomatoes. Unfortunately, the virtual world doesn't allow it, but any questions, concerns?
I'm picking up what you're dropping.
Cool. I'm gonna drop for everyone who hasn't. Yes, I just going through it. It's a good call. I'm gonna drop the link again. Okay. Let's move forward. Money. Money is pretty straightforward. But if we have a person who is very cost-based, thinking constantly about the cost, the investment, this, that, I'm just gonna leave this there. It erases everything. What we need to do, we need to reposition their thinking from cost of your thing to cost of inaction. Simple but powerful. It's not about your cost of your thing, it's about cost of their inaction. And this is where stretching the gap helps. This is where the consequence questions come in. I don't want to pay 5,000. Yeah, that's fine. But what happens if you keep missing out on sales? You keep struggling with this problem and you're not able to really make progress. And this is where we put everything on a scale. And we have the 5K thing, and or however we charge, whatever we charge for our services, and the cost of inaction here. And this, with our questions, we need to make it much, much larger than this. Otherwise, there is no sale. We only buy based on what we'll achieve or what we'll miss out on. Simple enough. Money is easy. Cool. Energy, also pretty straightforward. I need to make sure that whatever I'm putting in front of them is an energy gain, not an energy drain. So, and this is primarily also through the presentation as well. I need to make sure that I'm not introducing concepts like you're gonna have to do this, you're gonna have to do that, you're gonna have to do that. It will take you this many hours. My program is 50 hours. A lot of people think that because we have a library of content, or this service isn't enough, I'm gonna add more sessions, I'm gonna add more content. You have to understand that a lot of people will say no because it's an energy drain. One thing, every additional thing you have them do, unless you provide a clear benefit, they see it as an energy drain. Like, we have to help them understand that they're gonna get the results while retaining as much of their energy as possible, or they're even gonna gain energy out of our thing. For Richard, for example, who helps patients, they're gonna gain a lot more energy, but we have to communicate that. We have to ask the right questions to get them to understand that them taking the time, driving to the Cairo and sitting for, I don't know, 8 weeks, 2 hours, they're gonna be much, much more productive for the next year. We have to ask the right questions to get them to understand that our thing isn't an energy drain, it's an energy gain. Richard.
Yeah, so where would you put that at on the my script?
That's the thing. It's all these are not scriptings, these are not or lenses to have throughout the sales conversation. These are all boxes you can tick. So these are kind of like a way to look at things. I'm just giving you goggles. It's not a specific script. So if you feel up to a specific point that you haven't communicated or they haven't understood that they're going to get a lot of energy by that, we have to ask more questions. This primarily will happen in your case in two ways. One, in problem awareness, like how is this your back pain, like how is it impacting your day-to-day? Or it's slowing me down. In what way though? When I work, I cannot bend down, I cannot, okay, and what are the ramifications of you not being able to kind of like bend down and do the, well, I'm missing out on this, I'm missing out on that, I'm missing out on that. Energy drain. Solution awareness, if I come in and I talk about, okay, so let's say we help you get the pain away. You had mentioned that has been slowing you down, like how this will benefit you, maybe in your day-to-day job. They start talking about, yeah, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. The energy gain valve goes up.
Yeah, if I could help you reduce your back pain, how would your everyday improve?
Yeah, how would life be different though?
Yeah, how would life be different? How would your day-to-day be improved?
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's in that. You
Yep.
want them to see it.
Yep. Everyone with me? Thank you, Richard.
Yes, sir.
Cool. Last piece, and this is also an important piece, reputation. And this is a wild card. This can trump everything else that we covered. Reputation is just that potent. People go to wars for the reputation. People will literally die for the reputation. So, and this happens throughout the sales conversation, throughout. It doesn't even have to happen during the call. It happens before the call, happens after the call, happens all across the board. And the reputation comes in, it's also yin and a yang, negative and positive reputation. So throughout your back and forth with a prospect, negative reputation is when people are judging them, judging their bad performance, their family, their boss, colleagues. There are 1,000 different aspects to this. Like what would happen if they don't make a change? How's it going to show up in their family, in their society, in clubs, in anything? It depends on what we're selling. Any negative reputation, any negative connotations that are coming, that are a result of them having a problem or not fixing the problem. And this is where I can probe, clarify, and unpack things. My neighbor has a BMW, I need to get a BMW too. Positive reputation. Positive reputation is what am I going to gain out of buying your thing from a reputation wise? Bob, I'm gonna get my son a job. So when we go to grandma, my grandma's gonna be like, Chris is out of the house and got a job. That's amazing. Just that reward can pay for the hefty price tag. So, and this will come through probing, clarifying, but this is why I discussed that these are goggles, these are lenses to put on. We need to double tap both on the negative and the positive ones. When we say, yeah, I need to lose weight because my wife is kind of like concerned. How do you mean by concerned? Has that had an impact on your relationship? In what way though? Well, what have you noticed that makes you say that? And also there's a positive. Okay, let's say we're able to come in, do this, do that, do that. What would that do for you? Maybe for your relationship though. How would your relationship be different than maybe it is today? Again, powerful trump cards, and this is something that we can precede as well. So how I can precede, how I can seed reputation before it comes up, it depends on what we're selling, but right in the after situation before problem awareness, let's say I sell sales training, I would be something like, yeah, and I really enjoy having conversations with entrepreneurs because they are the providers. They are no longer taking orders. They're taking control of their business, and they're responsible for their family. And every little thing that they can change thousands of lives. So I can really appreciate where you're coming from, you wanting to improve. I move on. What did I just do? I just pulled on 5 different emotional anchors from the time that, let's say, they had a job and they were taking orders, to them stepping up for their family, to impacting thousands of lives with their business. And I've preceded all of that in their mind. So when I start asking problem awareness questions and solution awareness questions, these things are going to come right back up in the front lobe, and they're going to communicate with me. Or by selling, by being able to sell, I will be able to impact more people. Okay, what would I do for you personally? Now I can go right in and probe into what I seeded. So what would I do for you personally? This is where we come into the identity also. So this is why everything ties together. What would I do for you maybe personally? Being the person who impacts thousands. Core identity. No longer shell identity, core identity. How does it feel? Being the person who has a business that impacts thousands. I'm gonna shut up and take questions.
Are the questions to be around what we've discussed so far, or it's an open book?
Anything.
Okay. Excuse me, my fault. So things have been going well at work. I sold a car yesterday.
Sweet, awesome work. Pause. I do apologize.
Okay.
Because I just want to make sure if we have, because I'm going to lose my train of thought. If it's not relevant, anyone about T.I.M.E.R? Any questions about what I covered? Cool. I just want everyone to write their biggest takeaway, because when we write it down, it sticks. So I just want everyone to write their takeaway. Like, it won't be 2 words, doesn't matter to me, but it's going to help you remember. Ben, let's continue. I apologize for interrupting.
It's okay. You made me want to write down my takeaway at the moment. Biggest takeaway was
Go for it.
time. All right. Yeah. So yesterday I sold a car, and then I sold a car, I think the week before that as well.
Nice work.
I'm running into a little bit of an issue with myself when it comes to, like, they get on the lot and they have either an appointment or they're walking in and they tell me straightforward what it is that they want, right?
Mhm.
And when they tell me what it is that they want, I kind of do the connecting questions straight off of the script, like, oh, okay, so what attracted your attention? And then they tell me all of the bells and whistles kind of like ahead of time. And then after that, since because of our protocol, I kind of have to, like, I can't sit down too long. I have to take them out on a test drive because they kind of are there for it. It's something that has to happen within a timely fashion. And I noticed that it throws the system off because I can't, obviously in the car, try to, like, okay, so do you like what you're currently driving? Or in most cases, they don't have another vehicle, they're purchasing another car. So it's a
Yeah.
new car, new tag, new plates. So trying to get into kind of like how this vehicle would benefit them or why they need to do it. I've been struggling to try to pivot the conversation that way. And I feel like
Yeah.
that's
So
costing.
you first, before you let them start getting to their bells and whistles, you have
Yeah.
to get behind, oh, you were looking for a Honda, why? Just so I understand.
Okay, so
Or
even
a
though they,
Honda X model. Oh, what's behind that? What do you like about it?
okay, is it more of like when they start shooting all of the information out, like diarrhea, you kind of just plug it and be like, go back? Kind of like when he says Honda, you're like, okay, Honda, why? Even though they've just said 12 words after that.
No, yeah. So you need to take control of the conversation. So I need a Honda Jeep, has I don't know, 4x4 hydraulics, this.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, just to make sure I'm putting you in the right direction. You're looking at a Honda Jeep. How so? Where are you driving now?
Oh, and then they'll tell you, and then where would you take it after that point?
What was the question I asked you? Which stage?
Connecting. Wait,
Okay.
no. Yeah,
So
yeah, it was connecting. So
so it
anything else?
was so it was a situation question.
Yes, yes, yes. It was a situation question. Yeah. So what are you driving right now? So yeah, I'd be saying I'm driving a Cherokee, a Jeep Grand Cherokee.
Mhm. Okay. And where would you take it afterwards?
And how long have you been driving?
Yeah, you follow your process
Okay.
because that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And I want you to have kind of like that click here. They come in and they want a thing. It's in their mind, right?
Yeah.
Now you can act as a sales rep or you can act as a trusted advisor. The thing is, from what they've done, their research online, they have looked at their needs and looked at kind of like what they found online, and they found a fit in their mind. But
Okay.
you don't have to accept that fit, because as a trusted advisor, you should know more than them. So if
Okay.
you do a proper assessment of their problems, you can help them more. Okay, may I ask what got you looking at the Honda Jeep? I want family, I want this, I want that, I want that. Okay, that's no problem. May I make a suggestion? Sure. The model that you're looking at is perfect. The only chance is if you're looking for family, it has some rough, I don't know, X and Y and Z when you're traveling. So you might consider this and this and this and this. When you do, and obviously I haven't sold cars, but are you getting the idea?
I'm getting the gist. It's kind of like you're putting a negative on it just to
No. It's not what I want you to take away.
okay.
What I want you to take away from this is you don't have to accept the solution that they come to you for.
Okay. They don't know what the hell they're looking for. That's my job.
Exactly.
Okay.
Example, I go to the Porsche dealership and I want a 911 two-door, right? And the sales professional started asking me questions. Okay, what got you into this car? Oh, it's my dream car. It's this, it's that. Okay, have you looked at, that's not a problem at all. Have you looked at the electric Taycan by any chance? It's electric, you don't spend as much as gas, and it's still cool. And you told me you're having a baby next year. That's a four-door. It's safer for the baby as well.
Yeah.
So it's about them having a solution. You don't have to accept, because they might not know exactly what you offer or the best possible choice for their situation,
Okay.
because you're not in control of the process,
Yeah.
right?
No. And now when you're referring a second item like that, so I can understand the rationale behind it. So what is the goal of kind of like when they give you feedback off that answer, like, oh, yes, or oh, no?
Say, I didn't catch that.
So me being the prospect and you asked me the question of, oh, have you seen the electric Porsche? Considering the fact that you're gonna have a baby, right? And I answered that question. From your essence of you asking the question, so what's the purpose that you're looking for when you ask that question? Because that's a little unorthodox because most of the time you'll follow it up with, okay, anything else that attracted your attention. So you kind of did it on the reverse end.
I'm not following, sorry.
My fault, my fault. So like when you asked the question about the Porsche and the electric car, right? And you're like, have you looked at? And I go either yes or no. And with that in mind, you're asking the question, what's the goal of you asking the question? That's what I'm trying to understand. Because if I don't understand the questions that I'm asking, I kind of like fall on my face.
Okay. So what I unpacked for you is the frame of mind to
Okay.
follow when someone comes to you and tells you, hey, I want a Porsche 911 golden with a golden steering wheel.
Yeah, that's fairyland.
Sorry?
I said that's they're living in a different world if they're looking for something like that.
I'm just saying with such specifications, like very direct, very to the point, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And my suggestion to you is instead of accepting that, doing your proper discovery, because you might find out that a different vehicle can serve them better. I'm not giving you a specific question to ask right now.
Oh, okay. No, that makes sense.
Just giving you a frame of mind overall.
Okay.
These are things that you can include once you do proper discovery. Okay, what are you driving right now? I'm driving the old Porsche. Okay, what do you like about it? It's fast, it's this, it's that. Okay, well, it does sound like you're enjoying this car.
Yeah.
I guess what caused you to look into a new this and this and this? Oh yeah, I'm looking for a faster model. We're having a baby this year, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, may I make a suggestion? Have you considered that the Porsche 911 is only a two-door and there's no space behind?
Okay.
Since you told me that you're having a baby.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it would fit. Yeah, it wouldn't fit at all, no. But by any chance did you look at the Taycan, the other model?
Mm.
This is an example, right?
Yeah.
It's not about just upselling and downselling. It's finding out exactly what they want and giving them a proper recommendation.
Okay. 10.
I don't know
I'm
if that
thinking.
helps.
No, it does. It does. That now that you explained it better, that last circle, now I understand it wasn't a question, it was just a framework. So it depends on who's talking to me.
Yeah, because you brought a specific scenario, right? When
Yeah.
I'm in, I want this, we're done.
Yeah, that's
The only problem with I want this, I'm done. You take them for a test drive, you drop a price, and they have found a different price to dealerships before.
yeah.
And they're like, buy.
Yeah. Definitely went that way. Okay, but
Does that make sense? But if
no,
you
it makes
come
perfect
in
sense.
as a trusted advisor and you tell them, hey, dude, and this is not something that you will do in every scenario, but hey, dude, this car is nice. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. May I make a suggestion? Have you looked at this at all? They trust you now because you're
Yeah.
not just trying to shoehorn them. Hey, drive this, now buy it. You walk them through. And they may reject your suggestion, but they still trust you for it because you try to contribute. You try to add value.
Okay.
Are you with me?
Yeah, I got it. I got it.
Okay, cool.
Perfect.
Richard.
Hello. I got a, so on Tuesday, I'm gonna see 45 people and in about 30 minutes doing an event, like a chair massage event. So I have 5 minutes per person to ask some questions and then try to convert them to get in. And then once they come in, then you could do the whole script.
Yeah.
So the question is to you is, you know, only have 5 minutes per person. What main questions would you recommend?
Yeah. When they come in, are they buying something then and there, or what's
I'm doing a chair massage, so they're gonna fill out a survey on their pain. So
right,
they're gonna have a problem.
right.
So you're gonna have a main complaint. So you're gonna go right there. Okay, if I could get rid of one of your problems, which one would it be? They say low back pain, so we're gonna focus on the low back. Describe
Yeah.
the pain.
But at the end, what are you presenting? What are you pitching?
Free exam.
Perfect. That's all I need. Perfect.
Yeah.
And they fill in a form.
Yeah.
Okay. So how you treat it is as if it's a, let's say, a discovery meeting. So, hey, Richard, good to see you. I know we strapped for time. It looks like you have back pain here. Okay, perfect. Walk me through. How long has it been going on for? Okay. Do you have any idea what might have caused it? Just so I understand. Okay. So overall, how's your back pain affecting you right now? Is it hitting other parts of your body? Okay. And how long have you been noticing that it's been hitting your shoulder as well? Okay. And how is that kind of like impacting your day to day though? Like you being able to kind of like not turn around and okay.
Impact, yeah.
Is that having an effect on your job though? In
Yeah.
what way? Okay. And besides you wanting to get rid of the pain, I guess what's the main reason why you might be looking to kind of like a chiro instead of just, doubling down on painkillers? Okay. No, that makes sense. I mean, Richard, it sounds like what we're doing can help. That's why I offer a kind of like a typical a free exam just to see what the core issue is and if we can actually help. Now, would that help you if I book you in for a free exam?
Yeah, just real quick. Yep.
That's what you do.
Yep. All right, thank you.
You got the structure down.
Yes, I have everything down, what you said, so I'm just gonna
Yeah.
make it real short. Then once they come in,
Connecting, summarize the form up until end of problem awareness.
because it has to be quick.
Yeah. To the point, just like I did. It took me 2 minutes. In between, add another 2 minutes, the responses, 4 minutes, you're out.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
100%.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, Chris.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Yeah, I have a lot of sales calls with prospects, and I go through the NPQ process, and I feel that it's going really good until I drop the price. So
Mhm.
until I drop the price, okay. So I dropped the price 11K, and I'll go through so besides the money, would you do it? And they say yeah, and they expand on that and so on. But I feel it's the fear, and I don't know how to nail it. Now I have like 3 sales calls, and it's the same. It's fear. They want to check up the finances and come back, and so how can I reframe it and find the best option to get them to buy?
Yeah. I'm gonna send you the call that I had.
Last week, right?
Yeah. Did you watch that?
Yeah, but I watched it, but I can rewatch it again.
Not last week, my apologies. The live sales call from a prospect that had 5 objections, fear, money, the whole 9 yards. Did you watch that?
No, I haven't had the time, but I'm gonna watch it today.
Okay, cool. If you don't have the link, I'm putting it again in the chat. I just found it.
Okay.
The main idea is you have to make sure that you're stretching a nice gap up front, up top. So get the real clear around, what the gap is.
Mhm.
Is it a make more money offer overall?
Yeah, not really. Some of them come in and want to, start make more money. Some of them come in and wants to change their life. Yes, so it's different, but overall it is the same. It's like, oh, I have to check, or I don't know yet. I have to check my finances, or yeah, I can do the payment option, but let me think about it. I'm there.
Yeah, it's 100% fear. So whenever you offer payment plans and they don't go with one, it's 100%. It's always fear/uncertainty. So how you handle that is you have to isolate it, get to that point, and after you reach that point where they reject payment plan, and you've done a good job, like it's not a value objection, and you've clearly isolated. It's you go into around consequence, which is more risky, and different reframes, and we have many of them. What's your typical? How do you typically handle this? Because I don't want to just throw you 50 different things.
Yeah, now how I handle it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so money aside, would you go through the program? And say yeah. So I say, okay, may I ask why? And they say, yeah, because the program can change my life.
Yeah.
I can this, that. Okay, so I can understand that money might be an issue based on what you told me. What other avenues do you have to get the investments and start making your 10K and get your life in order?
Right.
And they tell me, yeah, I mean, I can pay it in full, but I can do this. Okay, can I make a suggestion? So if we can, have a conversation around a payment plan or a finance option, would you be open to have a conversation around those two? And yeah, I go that route, and now we are in the finance, and in the finance, I tell them, okay, so is 200 USD, we can do this and that. Would that be appropriate, or how would you go from here?
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, it sounds really good, but let me check my finances, or something like that,
Right. And then what did you do? What do you do?
Yeah, so I typically I say, okay, so what's the best decision for you, to when you go to bed tonight?
Oh, too heavy.
Yeah.
Too heavy up front. You're going intensity 10 from the get-go.
Okay.
So you have to ease into it because you're making a transition from a very logical place where we're negotiating money to a very emotional. Now we're gonna get our hands dirty and start, because we're dealing with fear, right? So what you do is, that's not a problem at all, and you could go and check, but may I make a suggestion? So that's kind of like I'm taking a different path. You need to have that switch, get another, let's say, get an additional permission from them to start tapping into, that lane. So yeah, that's not a problem. And you could check your finances. That's fine by me, but could I make a suggestion? Sure. And now you can do 100 different things. An easy one is, may I make sure, how long have you been considering making a change to fix X and Y and Z in the first place? X months. Okay. And in those X months, what do you feel you've missed out on because you haven't solved X? If anything, I've lost out on this, I lost out on that, I lost out on that. Okay, so I guess, would you prefer to keep missing out on X every single month that passes by, or do you want to put yourself in the best possible position so you can X and Y and Z? Yeah, I mean, it all sounds good, you're right, but I still have to check my finances, see if this is something that we can do. Yeah, that's fine, because we all make decisions based on our current perspective, right? Sure. Yeah, I mean, an overweight person doesn't turn into an athlete unless they start thinking like an athlete. So I guess from your perspective, fast forward 12 months down the line, you are the person, you have the right mindset, you're thinking X, and you're sending a mindset offer, by the way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have the right mindset. You are this guy that has this and this and this based on what they told you. What decisions would that person make when it comes to investing in themselves to actually get there? Oh, they would invest. Oh, they would invest. They would do that. Okay, but what if you don't? What if you stay exactly where you are with kind of like that stuck mindset in the next 2, 4, 6 months? Now, what's the alternative here? I would suck. It would suck. It would suck. Are you willing to settle for that? If you didn't have to? No. Why not though? Well, because blah, 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 blah. Okay. So I guess what do you feel you need to do? Like what decisions do you have to start making today so you can install the right mindset, do this, do that, do that? Your mindset offer, it's perfect for this because they tell you, yeah, I'm a little bit concerned about the investment. Yeah, it makes sense that you're concerned because that's you thinking from the old version of yourself. That's why why are we here? Why are we here, Ali?
Yeah.
You're to sell me. I mean, I'm not that cool, but we're here to change your mindset, right?
Yeah.
So I guess from your perspective, if you keep making decisions the way that you have been doing, feeling kind of like concerned and scared, and maybe fearful, if I may say, to invest in yourself, how is everything going to change? Like you can be direct because that's what you're selling.
Yeah.
You can turn into their coach then and there. All of the identity stuff that we talked about, it's directly applicable.
Yeah,
It
because
makes sense that it's a large investment for you because, you know, that kind of thinking got us exactly where we are. So what's going to change if you keep thinking the same way?
Yeah, because sometimes when I go that hard, some of them appreciate that, you know. But
So
I lose a lot of faith.
that's why I said you need to
Yeah.
slow. Not if you go to bed tonight, like first base, it's a light one. Cost of inaction, the way that I did it.
Yeah.
What do you feel have you missed out on? Then you up the ante. The next time that you ask for the sale, you do something like, so what decisions do you feel you have to start making today to do X and Y and Z? They reject it. In the third reframe, you do another reframe. There are many. In the third, fourth time that you ask for the sale, that's where you can say, so what do you feel you need to do? When you go to bed tonight, you're putting yourself and your family in the best possible position to actually do X and Y and Z. Because I want you to win. This is where you up the ante.
Okay.
But if I do that, like first one, it'll be like, oh, I'm out.
Yeah, because I feel when I do that, it's, you know, it gets weird, you know. They just
It gets weird because you're shifting the person that you are. You cannot be friendly one moment and the next one slapping desks, right? Especially with mindset offers, you have to be precise. Like you either step into a friendly persona. Now we're going in a different lane, but since you brought it up, they hop into a call. You're either going to be their coach from first base, and you're gonna be kind of like harsh, good to see you, like not too much rapport, but you're digging in. Yeah, you try to lead them. Or if you're gonna be friendly, that's where you start bringing in terminology. And I only say it because I care. It doesn't matter to me if you're doing this or not, but what's going to change? This is where you're much softer and you start introducing what's going to change because we're on the same team, because I want you to win. What's going to happen? And you still kind of like sting them, but you're doing it with empathy. These are two different styles. You cannot be one moment slamming desks and harsh. My default is the empathy. I know how to do the other one, but you have to pick a style. You cannot be all laughs in the beginning and then slamming desks and what do you feel you need to do?
Hmm.
Because they see it's not congruent and they don't see the real you. So they're not buying. They can see that it breaks rapport essentially.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yeah, a lot. Thank you so much. I have to rewatch it.
Cool. Richard.
Hey, Chris. So just got a few questions, just wanting to clear up my script a bit. I just want to confirm, so I'm asking about what their sort of cost per new student is costing in the situation questions. I'm then asking that their goals are as far as how many students they're wanting to get to in the second half of the solution awareness questions. Is that the right area to ask it?
So what was the first question? Sorry.
First question, well, like I just wanted to confirm, like I'm finding out all just their current, cost per student, sort of the capacity for their courses, in the situation question section. Then from there go through, and then the solution awareness questions when I ask more their goals as far as where they want to get to. And I just wanted to
Right.
confirm that's the right area.
How many students, you can ask it also after the rationale, because you don't want to get too detailed in the situation.
After the rationale in the, is that in the problem awareness, the bottom at the
Yeah,
end of
yeah.
problem awareness?
Yeah.
Is that
So,
okay?
yeah.
Because I was looking at some of like the scripts and Jeremy's like videos, and I did see, there was one that had it after that. So that's a better area to put it.
Yeah, like if it's problem awareness here, solution awareness here, it's right here. So you're asking, so essentially here you're finding a problem, you go deep, you ask the rationale question. And this is where, okay, so walk me through how many students do you have now? Okay, and if you were able to start doing this and this and this, so how many would you like to be having?
All right. So you even asked how many they've got now there as well in the situation.
We are not situation here.
That's where I've been asking just how many
Okay.
students do you have now kind of questions.
If you do it up here, you might get resistance up top or not very truthful answers. Resistance doesn't have to come. When we say resistance, it doesn't mean that they're gonna show the middle finger. Resistance, they're not just truthful. Couple of hundred, and they have 50.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Right, well, I'll put it there. My last question too was, I'm just struggling to get the ideal criteria to land properly, and I don't know, because essentially I'm trying to find out, what's important, say, with an agency for you, and generally they're like, oh, what do you mean? So I'll be like, things like a lot, the ones that have come up, I wrote actually a list, was things like, contracts, sign-up fees, communication, whether they have to do creative, say like copy. There's quite a list, and I'm just trying to figure out how to get that list to then I can then use that a little bit further on in the presentation.
Yeah.
Because at the moment, what am I saying? More just what's important to an agency or a partner, like a marketing partner.
Ask me the solution awareness question, the criteria question, the way that you have it now.
There it is. Okay, well, let's just do this just so I can see if what we would do would actually work for you. But besides you sort of wanting to improve your students, numbers, because everyone wants that, what are you looking for in a marketing strategy?
Yeah, so that's very open. That's open-ended.
Yeah, and it's just not really landing well.
Yeah, so what you're gonna say, you can say, what are you looking for in terms of, and you can direct them,
Right.
you can put them in a bucket.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so in terms, and so having essentially multiple buckets, wow, buckets, like
Okay.
communication,
Yeah,
something about what's involved. Okay, yeah, no, that's cool. Awesome.
yeah. And is there anything else that you're wanting? Okay, and a
Mm,
lot of clients, what they value is communication cadence, this, any of those resonate with you? Okay, how would you rate yourselves when it comes to, you find another problem there, you use it?
would you ask things like contracts? Because like a lot of the agencies do a 3 to 6 month contract. Obviously,
Mhm.
that's price based, a price issue. Would you bring that up there?
How do you help them when it comes to contracts?
We just don't do contracts.
Ah,
It's just
okay.
month to month. And we
No,
feedback that it is a bit of a
during your presentation, and we're not gonna ask you, you say it up front. This is how we help people, and we're not asking you for any contracts. Though it's
Mm,
performance only. That's where you drop
okay.
it in. You don't have to bring it up during.
Yep. Cool. Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, thank you. That answers my questions. Appreciate
Okay,
it.
awesome. No, 100%. Ben.
Okay, so I'm having like a 50% success rate with this, and I wanted to know if I'm botching this.
Mhm.
So I've been calling people that are into the service. They come in for a service, and the goal is to get them to basically sell their vehicle
Yeah,
or just be open to an appraisal, which then obviously leads to that. Um, I got 4 denies. One person said yes, but this is how it's been sounding. So I go, hey, this is Ben from Mini of Fort Myers. I just had some time to call you, but I was wondering if you would be opposed to a possible appraisal around your 2020 Countryman due to the fact that it's been in high demand. And then obviously they'll respond with yeah or no, because I've had a lady tell me yes, I'm opposed, like pretty fast, and I was like, okay, that
what's the appraisal for?
just to give them a value on the car. On our end, it helps us facilitate more inventory and used. Because
Yeah, but they don't care what they don't care. How is it helping you? So
oh yeah, true.
how is it helping them?
Uh, in case they have a car that's costing them a lot in terms of mechanics, they can get rid of it. It's called like an bulldog. So that when they get rid of a car that has all types of mechanical issues, they just trade it in.
Right.
For other
So
instances, yeah.
so you have to communicate that, because I don't care about any appraisal. I care if I'm overpaying.
Okay, yeah.
Does that make sense? If I'm
No, that
overpaying
makes
for
perfect sense.
parts, if I'm for
So
me,
I probably should look at their file a little bit more and tailor it, customize it to each person, not just cookie cutter.
it doesn't have to, but
Yeah.
when you ask them, hey, I'm just calling in to see if you would be open to an appraisal, there is no
Yeah.
benefit to them,
Fair,
at
fair.
least in the way that it's communicated.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because
I
you're
can see
asking me something, you're asking me to do something. Remember, energy. You're draining my energy
that.
with that
Okay.
statement, right?
Yes.
Yeah, if I tell you, hey Ben, I'm in Cyprus, can you go ship me in New Jersey from I don't know who? There is nothing in this statement for you. You're gonna
Yeah.
do me a favor by sending it, but you gain nothing out of it. That's what you're doing when you're calling them, hey, you want an appraisal? Like there is no inherent benefit in that statement for them.
Okay. Um, off the top of my head, then I should probably be like, hey, Sydney, I see that your car has been in service a lot. I'm not gonna assume that it's been costing you a lot, but would you be open to a possible appraisal to see that what we could give you for your car in case it might be costing you more?
Yeah, in case you might, it seems like you've been pretty frequently when it comes to us about frequently about coming to us for to service the car. Would you be opposed to having it appraised just in case you're overpaying for it?
Okay, yeah, that hits. Alright, yeah,
Sweet.
thank you. No, that was perfect.
Absolutely. Andrew.
Hey, I was hoping, and maybe you just have a video on this that I could watch, but I was hoping to see something like visual as far as how you walk through objection handling from a terms of like priorities of what to tackle first, and then like when to go from reframe to reframe and ask for the sale again. Because it seems like obviously you're very good at like switching between reframes, and I don't know where like to make that transition,
Mhm.
I guess, or even what objection I'm supposed to be handling first. Sometimes I struggle with that.
Okay, so two different things, right? First, you have to be sure what you're handling.
Yeah.
Right? So what's the, I guess, where's that coming from? Did a specific objection happen? What do you hear or see in
Not
your,
necessarily a specific objection. I most of the time I feel that like even when I do role playing with you and your or listen to your calls, like you tackle one objection, but then they just give you another one and you change pace, right? You go to something different. And I honestly rarely even get to that point because I'm I'm not very skilled at this point. But I guess I'm just curious as to like what to be tackling first. I think I've heard you say like you tackle the money objection first and go from there. But a lot of times, like I'll get think about it and husband and money kind of like all together, and I don't even know where to start.
right? So think about it, money, husband. Which one of you should you start attacking?
Probably money, I would assume.
Right. And they're gonna think about it, they're gonna think about the money, right?
Yeah.
Husband, they're gonna go to their husband about the money. What are they gonna talk about? If they're gonna get in shape, of course they want to get in shape.
Yeah.
So you handle money. So yeah, that's not a problem. Now, besides kind of like you wanting to think about it and talking to your husband, yes, when it comes to the investment, can you walk me through what's kind of like your concern? And you isolate money and you go deep there, and that's where you stay. So how you handle it is, besides the money, would you move forward so you can X and Y and Z? Why?
Mhm.
Okay. So what are some ways we tap into logistical? What are some ways that you can come up with the funding to put into my coaching so you can X and Y and Z? Oh, it's too much, blah, 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 blah. I don't know how we can come up with it. If they don't give you anything to work with there, what you do is, yeah, that's not a problem. I guess, is it more of the upfront amount? Or if we were to break it into something more digestible, would that help you? So you don't have to postpone, blah, 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 blah. If you get resistance there and you don't get agreement on a payment plan, it's fear. That's the other logic tree. And when it comes to you start tapping into fear, it's what I started with Ali as well. But essentially, you start on a loop, right? It can be a consequence loop, it can be a story-based loop, it can be a few things. But right before you begin, you get permission for them. May I make a suggestion? May I share a different perspective on that? And it makes sense because we all make decisions based on the perspective that we have. These are the three kind of like permission-based bridges you can use. Once you deploy one of these, you start the objection and you start the objection reframe and you ride all that up until you ask for the sale again. So the way that you do it, you go on to say what you want to say. So what do you feel you need to do to put yourself in the best possible position to start losing the weight. Oh, I need to make a change. I need to get help. Okay, where would you like to go from here? Get resistance. You move on to the next reframe. Yeah, that's not a problem. Next reframe, next reframe, next reframe.
Okay.
Okay, so walk me through. What do you feel you need to do? Like, what decisions do you have to start making so you can X and Y and Z? Okay, how would you like to proceed? That's how it ends and it restarts and it goes on.
Okay. So can I ask you, because I went through our video and just like took notes that we did last time when you kind of went through reframes here. But as far as reframe goes, the ones that, and maybe there's just a better resource for this, but I have that you know, we make decisions based on our current perspective, what's more risky, what happens if we don't make a change, and how long have you been thinking about making a change as far as reframe kind of things go? Is that the main ones that you use, or
What was the last one?
actually maybe that was, I don't know, how long have you been thinking about making a change for?
Yeah,
And then-
that's cost of inaction.
Okay. Are those the main kind of reframes that you would recommend kind of using?
You have the different ones. In your case, you have, and it makes sense because we all make decisions based on our perspective. An overweight person, no offense, doesn't get into the best shape of our life in their lives unless they start thinking like an actual athlete. So be real, be honest with me. Like, based on, I guess, do you feel the decision-making process that you follow shapes our future outcomes? Yes, it does. Okay, and the decision-making process that you've been following so far, I guess, with the life that you're living right now, be real with me from 1 to 10, where do you stand in terms of where you really could be? How would you rate yourself? It's an easy question. How would you rate yourself? 5, 6. Okay. So I guess, do you want to allow the decision-making process that got you being a 5 dictate the outcomes that you're getting in the future when it comes to your health? No. Well, why not though? Because I'm gonna stay stuck, I'm gonna do this, and do that. Okay. Next one.
And is there a like correct order of which reframes to use first? It does not really matter.
It doesn't really matter. The main thing is the same thing that I told Ali. It depends how much you wanna take it and how cooperative they are, and we don't kind of like enrage them, right? And it's
Right,
coming from the right place. You can increase the intensity of the final ask, so you can encourage them. It's not about like when we say intensity, we just want to make clear to everyone, it's not the intensity of your anger or your passion, it's your intensity of certainty. The intention of certainty that I know that this is going to work for you. We're in this together. Where should we go? Yes, no is fine by me, but where should we go from here?
Okay, cool. Great, that's helpful. Thank you.
Cool. How are our sales doing?
For me, awful. Really bad.
What's the constraint?
I honestly feel that I'm not recently, I honestly feel like I'm just not talking to the right people. Like I don't really, I feel like my sales skills could be better for sure, but I'm just getting on calls with tire kickers. And so I'm working on fixing that process because I think that's the main constraint, to be honest.
Yeah. Tire kickers in terms of like they don't have the money or
Yeah, yeah. Like I'm not talking to people who are yeah, like I'm talking like a lot of people coming through my pipeline are like on Social Security or like things like that, you know, and so I'm working on fixing my leads problem.
okay.
And like I've built like an application to put before the call and things like that.
Okay.
that filter people out. But I'm also doing a bad job. I mean, it's a combination of everything, right? Like it was a really bad month in May.
Well, yeah, I mean it goes up and down all across the board, but yeah, I mean if you have any gaps in your script, bring it next time and we can look at it. Maybe do a quick
Okay.
10 minutes like makeover.
Okay, that would be really helpful.
Yeah, bring it over. Like that's why I have these
Okay.
calls. We're in here for
Yeah.
90 minutes.
Okay.
Cool. Awesome. Keep me updated. And if you need anything specific, email me too.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Cool. Anything else before we go? Cool. Awesome. Well, my pleasure as always. Let's keep it up and enjoy your Sunday, everyone. Bye.